Interested to see we got Santa Bucky's shirt. Yeah.
All right, thank you for joining us, everybody. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach Brennan, and then we'll take some questions. Coach.
All right, it's good to see everybody. Appreciate you all coming through today. First of all, I really want to thank our fans. They went up to the game last Friday night. I thought it was awesome, just seeing the excitement and the enthusiasm and the joy of our players' faces as they were interacting with our fans and their parents and the band, and everything was really, really special. I thought it was also amazing to have Dalton Johnson be the player of the week again. I just think that's incredible. 2 weeks in a row, a senior, stuck through it, did it right, played for multiple different coaching staffs. I just think the guy's really special. And I think we've talked about it a lot lately, but I think there's just a lot of momentum here at the University of Arizona right now. I think it's been an incredible month with everything that's been going on, just with our men's and women's basketball team, our volleyball team going to the NCAAs, and then also the success that the football team has had on the field. So there's it's an exciting time here, a lot of really good stuff going on, and we're excited to get going for bowl practice and find out where we're going and all that good stuff. But it's been a hell of a weekend, I'll tell you that.
Thank you, Coach. Justin and then Troy.
With a lot of things happening in college football with like the coaching carousel and just kind of the messiness with some other programs, do you have an appreciation for just kind of where you guys are at right now as a program? What do you think just about kind of how things are going?
Yeah, I think it's obviously this is a crazy year, a crazy situation for all that kind of stuff, but I think it's awesome. I think I've mentioned it a lot, like really good alignment with our coaches, really good alignment with our administration, and I think we're really fortunate for that. And I think we're just fortunate to have the outstanding coaches and people that we have in our building right now.
Troy and then David.
Going off of that coaching carousel, you're at that time of year where contracts and extensions are being talked about for the assistant coaches and the terrific job that they've done this year. Do you have a time frame maybe that you would want to see those come out, maybe before the bowl game, after the bowl game? Just your thoughts on the time frame of that.
You know what, we haven't really got into that too much, just because the game was 2 days ago, and we're kind of like trying to let everybody decompress. We're having to have a lot of personnel conversations right now. We have national signing days in 2 days, so like our focus has been on our personnel, our roster, and then also what's happening 2 days from now.
David and then Damien.
Coach Danny Gonzalez last week in his when he was up here kind of made a casual comment about how we couldn't stop the run. It's the one thing we can't do. It was almost kind of flippant to say, okay, watch what we do next, and then you go out and do it on Friday night. What did you just like about the way he designed this scheme to stop their quarterback really quick?
Well, I think our defense has been fantastic all year, and I think that speaks to the quality of the coaching and the quality of the players, right? Like, because the players have to be willing to put in the work, put in the extra, and execute at that kind of level against a really good football team. A team that the week before ran for almost 400 yards on somebody in the Big 12, right? So I just think Coach Gonzalez has done a fantastic job. I think that whole side of the ball has, and it's been really fun to watch them as they've progressed over the season. And I think whenever you put together a game plan for somebody, right, like, you don't know it's going to go that way, right? Like, you're confident in what you do, you're confident with the answers or the adjustments you can make in game, but the people that you're playing, they have some say in that too. And I just thought our defensive staff and our offensive staff, we really did a great job of that all year, adjusting to what was happening in game.
Damien and then Michael.
So, Brent, what can you say about the ride home? What was it like?
Honestly, everybody was dead. It was obviously a really physical football game, a really emotional football game, a really emotional end and post game, locker room, and all that stuff. And so the bus ride back, I would say, everyone was asleep. Everybody was asleep or some version of knocked out on that bus.
Michael and then Brian.
So you went to the basketball game.
Yes.
On Saturday, and you were introduced and got a standing ovation. Given what you and the program have been through over the last year, what did it mean to you? What did that feel like?
Oh, I thought it was awesome. I think that's one of the things I love about this place is that, the city of Tucson and just how important the university is here. And so for them to be excited about the Territorial Cup coming back to Tucson this year after what it was last year was awesome. I thought it was an incredible moment really fun to be there and just feel that energy and that excitement from our fans.
Brian and then Justin.
Since you won't find out opponent and all that, where you're going until Sunday, what do you guys do between now and then? Is there any practice, or is this just like a week where everybody is focusing
On school and recruiting and recovery. It's a big recovery week for us. They'll have some work with Coach Carroll and the weight staff over the next couple days, but really just trying, it's a long season. It's a long season, and I think the physical brand of football that we play, our bodies are beat up, and so a little bit of rest, a lot of recovery, a lot of time in the training room, like all those things for our players, so that we can, when we do get ready to go to work on the next opponent and wherever we're going for a bowl game, we are ready to attack that phase of our preparation.
Do you get a specific number of practices based on like how far out the game is?
I think it depends on when we play, you know what I mean? So.
Justin and then Jason.
Obviously, you can't talk about specific recruits, but just looking at the 26 class and the job that your staff have done to put this together, what do you think about this group and just the work that you guys have put in on the recruiting trail?
I think we have a great group of recruiters here. I think people in our personnel department, I've talked about Geiska a lot. I've talked a lot about Fletcher Kelly. I just think everyone has done an incredible job. Recruiting is an everyday thing. It's an exhausting thing. It's also really fun. And I think, just the momentum that we have as a football program is also showing up on the recruiting trail.
Do you see any similarities or differences between this group and the last recruiting class that you guys saw?
I don't know. That's
Just like positions or just like things that you were trying to identify with recruits?
well, I think we're always looking for players that love football. Like it's kind of one of those things that's hard to measure or hard to kind of validate, but like we're always looking for guys that are going to fit what we talk about being kind of core of what we want here. Is just guys that are tough, love football, and want to be at the University of Arizona.
Jason and then David.
Rewatching the game on TV, there were a few times where when ASU was on defense, you were in conversations with Danny. Is that normal? Is he talking about what they're running defensively, or kind of just that relationship when, they showed you he was...
So I think that's the value of having someone that's been a head coach on your staff, you know what I mean? Like it could be anything, hey, what do you think here? What do you think? Should we punt it? Should we go for two? You want to go for it? What do you like? You think you can stop them from here? You know what I mean? Like that kind of, so it's always, I think that's been really healthy between Danny and Daggy and I and Niver in game about like, okay, how do we want to handle whatever situation we're in? Whether it's a go for it on fourth down or punt it or try a field goal or go for it, it's like those questions that like just having somebody to like talk about it quickly and get a good answer and everybody be on the same page. Okay, this is what we're doing. Here we go.
David and then Michael.
Coach, you've mentioned obviously Fletcher and guys got a lot in the last couple of weeks. How would you describe maybe to the average fan how the recruiting of high school players is different now with this streamlined upper structure that college teams have now with extra people like the GM and player personnel?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is it's definitely, I think lends itself to a little more organization, right? When I came up in this thing, like there was multiple years where I was the recruiting coordinator and also the receiver coach, or the recruiting coordinator and the receivers coach and the special teams coordinator, and like, it's just like, and so, you're like, okay, am I focused on recruiting or am I focused on trying to get a first down this week? So it was, I think that one of the things that Geiska and Fletcher do an incredible job of is like they're kind of the front door with some of the evaluation process, right? And then they do a great job of making sure everybody is accountable to our process, right? So the position coach seeing the players, the coordinator seeing the players, me seeing the players, right? So that we have consistency of our evaluation process. And then, okay, yes, we like this kid, we're going after him, or no, we don't think he's good enough. So I think that part of it is really, really helpful because it's also different, right? Where, I've been in this thing long enough to remember the days when you traveled with a box of blank VHS tapes and you would literally go to a high school and record deck to deck, like push play and record, yeah, you guys are all laughing, but like the young people in the room are laughing because they don't even know what I'm talking about right now. They don't know what a VHS tape is. But yeah, and so like now the film is so much more available, right? Like I don't have my phone on me, but I bet I got texts of highlight films while we've been talking, right? Like, so there's so much film that comes in, and it's an overwhelming number, where before it was much more regionally based, right? Like you were recruiting proximity areas, maybe a state or two that touched your state, but now it's so much more national, and because you have so much more access to video. And so they're incredible helping us organize that and be able to get really thorough evaluations of the players that we're bringing into our football family.
Michael and then Damien.
I don't know whether the votes have been cast already for the Big 12 awards, but if you were to state the case for Noah Fifita to be the Offensive Player of the Year in the Big 12, what would you say?
I would talk about just how incredible his, touchdown to interception ratio is. I would talk about, to me, that award should go to the most important player to his team. And I don't think there's any question that that's Noah Fifita for us.
Damien and then Troy.
How have you seen the relationship between Seth and Danny grow over the course of the season?
Well, I think it's been great with them from the start. And I think that's a really important thing. And I'm glad you asked the question, because it doesn't get brought up enough. I've been around football long enough to see a lot of those offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator situations be almost adversarial, almost unhealthy, like us against them. And I think when you do that, it's really hard to build the kind of team you want to build. You know what I mean? And so from the beginning, even in spring practice, there were days where the offense was, getting after the defense, or the defense was getting after the offense. But there was always conversations between Danny and Seth, in practice, post practice. It was really healthy and really fun to watch. Hey, this is really hard this plays really hard on our defense, or vice versa. It's been really, really positive.
Our last two will be Troy and then Justin.
Kind of going off of the Noah Fifita stuff, just the growth that he's made within the offense from the beginning of the year till now, the relationship with Seth Dagan, how you've seen him evolve as a quarterback this year.
Yeah, I think that's such an important thing, that your quarterback has a great relationship with the play caller. I think there has to be, there's obviously a football relationship, but I think it's important that there's a personal relationship and a real high level of trust there. And I think you got to give both of them credit, right? Because Seth was new, and for Noah, it's his fourth scheme in 3 years or 4 years or whatever, third scheme in 3 years, right? So he's had to keep learning, but it just speaks to what a great teacher Coach Deggy is, and what a great worker Noah is, right? And just how much they trusted each other and really invested in each other and helped that kind of produce what it was able to produce through the course of the season.
We'll finish up with Justin.
Sorry, I have 2 questions.
Here we go. I got 9 questions.
So the Territorial Cup, do you guys treat it like the Stanley Cup? You guys, does a person have it for a day?
That's a good idea.
Do you guys drink something out of it? How do you guys celebrate that?
No, I'm not sure that would be healthy, but no, that's actually really cool. I think the cool thing, for me, is just that thing is now back here, and so that we get to be excited about that, and it is such a special rivalry, just given the proximity of the two schools and just kind of the impact it has in the state of Arizona, just makes it so special. But I like the idea of the Stanley Cup. Everybody gets it for a day. The scary thing for me would be what if somebody lost it? You know what I mean? That would be oh my God, Coach Brennan lost the cup. But I do like the idea.
And then my second question, kind of along the lines of Lev, I don't think we've asked you about this since it came out, but Danny being nominated for the Broyles Award.
Yep.
If someone asks you why is he worthy of winning that award, what do you tell them?
I think you look at what this team has been statistically, and what they've done, considering where we were a year ago and all the new pieces to the puzzle that they had to integrate and get to play at a high level. I mean, talk about red line. When you watch us play, it shows up every snap. The second best pass defense in the country, right? The number one in takeaways. Just there was so much progress made there, and I think it was cool because I think to see what Coach G and that staff was able to do, and also those players, right? Because those players, I said it earlier, but those players, they have to buy into that. They have to be willing to take the coaching and play and hit those bags every day. I'll bet you they don't like hitting those bags every day. You know what I mean? But they still do it, and it's become our identity, and it's become who we are. And I think that's really good coaching.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Bear down.